views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Russell. Welcome to the Healing Light Podcast. I am a psychic intuitive who's been reading tarot cards for over 25 years. I'm also Reiki certified. Join me as I read cards, share intuitive messages, promote healing, and much, much more. Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Healing Light Podcast. I am your host, Caitlin Greenglass, and before I get to my guest of the evening, Dina Ziskin Fortune, I wanted to thank you all for listening in. You can find me on Spreaker, and as well as any other places you get apps where you listen to your podcasts. If you want to find me, I am all over social media, the Healing Light NH on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can also view my website at www.thehealinglightnh.com. If you have a show idea, or if you have suggestions, if you'd like to be a guest, someone you'd like me to interview, please feel free to comment, send feedback, and you can send me an email at thehealinglight1, that's thehealinglight1, at gmail.com. So I have someone different, but I thought about this subject for a while. It was suggested to me one time to kind of do like a free form, free flow writing, but I've heard about art in the spiritual world and what it can do. So I was very happy to be introduced to Dina Ziskin Fortune. I'm very happy to have her on the show. So welcome, Dina. Let's talk about your wonderful, wonderful guest. How are you?
Hi, I'm so good. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful for the invitation and the referral from our friend Melody.
Yes, Melody was a guest a little bit ago, and she is a wonderful human being, and she connects me with all these amazing people. So she's awesome. She surely is. Yeah. So when you and I chatted, I like to find out how people want to be recognized or identified, whatever you want to call it. And you said you're an artist, channel, and activator. So let's talk about that. I'd like to talk about your art. So what do you do with your art? Please explain it to everyone.
So there's a couple of things that I do. I connect with my higher self, and for a lot of my art, I started. Okay, let me just rewind. So I channel healing frequencies and intentional energy into the artwork with energetic light codes, Reiki, blessings, joy, expression. And the intention is different with each painting. The premise started about 4 years ago, where I was on the healing journey. Well, it's never over. And I said, well, if I want to start painting again, I want to paint with intention, and I want to paint with the intention of healing and bringing in healing, not just for myself, but for others. And so once I set that intention, the universe heard me. Soul, spirit, it's like something else. So it's so for some I connect with spirit, I connect with source, I connect with different beings like dragons and fairies, and I am able to channel their energy into the art. And it's, in a way, you can call it spirit painting. And so it has different intentions based on the painting.
Wow. Yeah, that's really different. So, I now that just brings up so many other questions that I have, because I know with a lot of psychic mediums, they use their voice or they write, but I've never heard that with art. So when you're receiving messages from spirit or the universe or the higher source, is it the same the way they want to express themselves? Like if I wanted to hear a message from, say, Saint Germain is one of my spirit guides, and he's like the founder of of the violet flame, which is kind of like a Reiki, vibrating on the seventh level there.
Yeah.
Now, he comes to me through messages. He talks to me, but would he do the same with you because he knows you're an artist, or is it okay? So it doesn't like he wouldn't do a message. He wouldn't relay a message to only me. He could also go through you, but he knows that you're using your God-given, life-given artist gift. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So yes to both. So like, say if you were to feel compelled to come to me for a painting that had the energies that were in your highest good for you, not only would Saint Germain like come through, because I also connect with him as well, but I always have the intention of connecting with whatever beings, guides, masters, angels are for that, the highest good of that person. And then a lot of times they'll just send a painting through me, and I'll just paint it where I just don't I just go with the flow, and I set the intention. And then if there's a need for verbal messaging, there will be also verbal messaging, and there could also be written messaging so it's kind of like automatic writing and adding another layer of painting with code. So I channel different ways depending on the person and how they can best receive it. So, because I wear light codes, they look like sigils, they look like symbols. They're like pockets of energy with intention or information. And so a lot of times you don't even see the codes. But to answer your question, I communicate a lot better through art than I use spoken word. So, but I also sing too. So what'll happen is I'll record myself channeling and painting at the same time, so that I can allow it to come through me much easier without allowing my ego to get in the way and trying to analyze things. So so it's for whoever it's made for. So for example, there's a lot of art that I make ahead of time, and then years later that person finds me and they're like, "Oh, that painting's for me."
Oh, wow.
And I'll be like, "Oh, that's awesome. This is great. I started that 5 years ago and I had no idea." It's just wild like that. Like sometimes I don't even know who the painting's for. And then another time someone will come to me and I'll be like, "Dina, I want a higher self painting, a portrait of my higher self." And I will tap and connect with your higher self, and I have like a process, and we'll have like a higher self conversation, and then I do the painting, and whatever other forms of mediumship channeling wants to come through. But it's like, it's kind of like some people like to scribble while they channel. Me, I bring in a lot of different colors, it's a lot of different shapes and scribbles, and yeah.
I'm going to ask you about colors. I mean, are you given messages about what colors they want you to use, or is it just something that you go, I'm seeing like violet, or I'm seeing green or gold here in this section?
It's more like a claircognizant. Okay. It's like I just do it. Like I kind of like, well, like say I'll be looking at a painting, and then all of a sudden I'll like have the paintbrush, and I'll be like, instantly, I just grab that color. I'm not using my thinking brain.
Right. Okay. Right.
Completely. I do my best to shut off my brain, and sometimes I get the clairaudience, and a lot of times it's just like I just allow it just kind of just be directed from my gut instinct. Like I set the intention, like, okay, this painting is for this person with this intention. And then I allow, like, some of them are dragon paintings. So like I'll set the intention to paint that person's dragon, and it comes out like a dolphin. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I guess it wants to look like a dolphin. Yeah, like I do my best to like turn off my brain and just like be in the flow.
Right. That's kind of what I figured. You just shut your brain off and just go with it. Now, I'm always curious with artists who who paint. And did it start when you were little, or is it kind of a little bit later in life? I know you said you were on a healing journey about 4 years ago, but
Yep. So funny enough, I started painting when I was in high school, and my parents sent me to a private school. And I really don't remember a lot of my earlier years. Before that, that's a whole other thing that has to do with, like, a lot of different things, trauma and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I started painting when I was in high school, and I was blessed with having this wonderful lady, Mrs. Garris, being my art teacher. But this was ninth grade.
Wow.
And I was doing jewelry. Like, I was actually making beaded jewelry and dancing. And I don't even remember doing any kind of drawing or painting until I found Miss Garris in ninth grade. And then she encouraged me to keep painting and went to college and had a major car accident the month before I went to Italy. And I actually found out later, how you don't know what happened later? I think I lost the question.
Oh, no, it's okay. All right, so we're talking about like how you when you realized really that you had your gift. So for you, it was around the ninth grade, and it was inspired by your art teacher. So
yes, thank you. I have a little bit of ADD kind of stuff going. Yeah. So it started there, and then another whole level when I got to Italy after that car accident, and it just it was like pockets of time. So where different major things happened, and that brought me to painting. And then eventually back again, and I took a break. It was really funny. My high school teacher really was you're very talented, Dina, and she really encouraged me to pursue the painting. And so I got to go to Carnegie Mellon, but I was a little spiritual. I was into some of the spiritual, concepts, but not fully, because I was researching reincarnation when I was 13. So that's a whole other thing. So, so there was always this new reading in and exploring and studying anthropology and different traditions, and really curious about different cultures. And so, because I think I already knew that I had different lifetimes, different places, and different countries and stuff like that. So anyway,
that's it's interesting, similar background. And I think I've talked to a lot of psychics and mediums and tarot and all of our community, and there are so many of us who I have a trauma background, and I started with the tarot probably in my 20s. Before that, forget it. And I think it's just out of some painful events in our lives, sometimes with people like us who talk with spirit and are I call it the universe, whatever source, is that something beautiful actually really comes out of it. So now, when someone wants you to commission painting, do they sit with you in a session, or do they say, okay, I want to have a dragon, and then you craft them, and then you bring it, or whatever,
Great question. I've been evolving my commission offerings over time. I have some offerings, which some of them I don't even publicize. I just started to create something for the higher self painting. But usually when someone comes to me, it's usually because I posted that I'm doing an offering, or the higher self paintings, they know me, they're following me, or something prompts them to contact me for a commission painting. And then I have some different offerings that are in my Calendly calendar thing that have some different options. And so it's, I do some, for example, the higher self paintings, those were people that were in the spiritual community when I was first starting to really get into light language. And they were watching me. I was posting my art, I was posting my paintings a lot. And they were like, wow, Dina, I want you to do a higher self painting for me. And I'm like, okay. And then I scheduled, calls with them. So to answer your question, I will schedule calls. There's 2-3 phone calls that go into, that are part of the whole process. And one of those phone calls is like a connecting phone call, and to really get an idea of like what is the intention of the painting, what would they like to receive from it, and also getting like a consent of me tapping into their Akashic records and connecting with their higher self, getting a feeling for them and what they're, is going to be in their highest good for like what's going to come to the painting. Mm-hmm. And then there'll be an Akashic record session. And then I paint in between. I don't necessarily paint when I'm on the phone with them.
Right. Okay.
It's more about, it's a combination of, actually I do energy work with them. So it's like in a Akashic record reading, it's not just like straight up reading. It's more like a paint what needs to come through to assist them with their now in their process of where they're at. So it's more than painting, basically.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you're really tapping into their being, their whole being, their soul. Wow, and I've heard of Akashic records. I'd love to have that done sometime. I'll have to connect with you because I would love to have a soul painting as well and have an Akashic record. I didn't make that connection, but that's profound to me because it's got to be. I'm sure. I mean, every painting that you do is unique. But it really speaks to that individual, and that is it's our DNA. It's just one. That's it. That's all we're gonna have, and yet it comes out. When you're talking about when you do your art. So I think it's and I know that can offer healing to some people as well. I mean, art is healing anyway. It really is. I know for me. I mean, I'm not a crazy person like that, but the things I do, I know is. You get into a good zone, it makes you happy and peaceful. So I think it's a great gift to absolutely have. So where do you get some of your? I know that you talk to source and spirit guides, and where else do you get your inspiration? What puts you in that space?
Well, first thing that comes to mind is the dragons. I really feel like I just get so much joy from painting. It takes me into a blissful state. And a lot of times, like water, just, wanting to create art that feels good. I just want to create art that feels good and gives off an energy that is like bringing in beauty and also curiosity, and I like to play. I really just like to play with color. Yeah. and have fun, and it's like a little like moment to just start this white canvas or watercolor paper or black whatever I feel like I want to play with, and just seeing what spirit wants to come through, see if my water dragons want to come through, see if the fairies come through, see if, my higher self, my inner child wants to come through. So it's so different. It depends on the day and what I'm moving through. Like right now, I've been connecting with my mom, who's on the other side in spirit. And so I am processing through grief. So that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, even I love also, and I'm probably going beyond your question, I am inspired by sacred geometry and circles and connecting the dots. And I just feel like I'm inspired by life too. Just, so different. Flowers. I love painting flowers and birds and roses. And so,
yeah, that's really wonderful to hear, and I'm very sorry for the loss of your mom. I know that about you, and I think it's amazing because you talk about her and how she also was inspiration for your art, and you think about it, you carry her legacy with you. So I'm sure she is just so happy to see you continue with that. I think that's an amazing gift that she has given you, and I'm glad to hear that you can carry her with you, and I'm sure she comes out, when you're in your paintings as well. Were there any paintings or anything that happened that maybe surprised you that was new, or you're talking to one entity and then somebody else pops in, or anything that was like, that was different?
Yeah, actually, well, I have that, like, even with these dragons, I'm like, oh, these are different dragons, and I have that a lot, like, I start with this vision, sometimes I start with a vision in my head, and and it comes out completely different. I'm like, well, that took an interesting turn. Or sometimes I go get, like I have this painting I call Nefertiti's Womb. I was doing that while meditating. I'm like one of those people, I can't just sit and close my eyes and meditate. I got to paint. I like to paint when I'm like meditating. And so that was interesting. I had a lot going on with that one. It was like, oh, I really find it, like, even my blue, I have this painting of a woman with, like, her face is completely covered by flowers. It's just really funny, you know, like, there's one I did about forgiveness that I was trying to capture this, like, image of all these colors that showed up in my mind's eye when I was listening to this meditation about forgiveness. And it wound up becoming so wild and so beautiful. And then a dragon showed up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, yes.
It's amazing how that works. I just really think that when we connect with spirit and the universe, that they truly pass on to us, you know, these, I don't keep saying connections, but yeah, you know, the energy, it's an energy exchange. And so that's a way for them to live on as well. So what does the future hold for Dina? Like, what are your plans? What do you like to expand? What do you want to do with your art?
Okay. Well, I love to have more art shows. And I love teaching intuitive art classes that are not just art classes, but workshops. Others to really be able to expand their creativity and expand their concept of their creativity. And I'm actually recently a 3-time selling author. Published, so I have a book that I co-created with 2 other soul sisters, and it has 14 of my paintings, and we have channeled light codes from Lily with instructions and channel messages from Michelle Harlington, so Lily Lee and Michelle Harlington, and we came together to create this book. So we have the book launch in Canada, in Toronto. We have that upcoming on June 8th in Vibe Studio in Toronto. And so I'm really looking forward to that and starting to get more into creating more online intuitive art experiences, and just really, there's so much I also think unknown. I'm keeping myself open to new possibilities. I definitely been wanting, there's some things I want to do, like make murals, create, like do paintings in people's houses that are beyond the canvas. So there's so much, but yeah, I can go on and on. But making more books with art. Who knows?
I'll look for your books for sure. That's amazing. So you add author to your resume. We'll check that off. So how do people find you if they want a piece of art from you, and if they want your book? How do they find you?
Well, I have the link tree /Sully Dina, and they can email me. I am on Facebook. I have my new Facebook, Sully Dina. I'm on TikTok. LinkedIn, I have an email, and like on the link tree it should have all my links. And I have an upcoming event this week where my friend and I are doing a toning into your highest timeline for creativity.
Right, so, that I see, right, yeah.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I mean, there's always email Dina@SullyDina.com, and through Facebook Messenger, Instagram, I'm Sully Dina. And Instagram is a great way to connect with me. And I'm just, going to continue sharing more about what I'm offering and, exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you so much for being a guest. I'm going to look for your books. I'm going to look for your, see if there's anything I can do virtually. Maybe someday come to you in person. That would be really cool. I want to thank you very much. And I think our guests are going to, reach out. Our listeners are going to definitely reach out to you, and they'll help you create your art. So thank you very much, everyone. So this is Caitlin on the Healing Light Podcast. As I said before, you can find me on Spreaker or anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok, The Healing Light NH, and my email is thehealinglight1 Website is www.thehealinglightnh.com. Thank you, everyone.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.